Okay, everybody, welcome to William Cunis Field, Ashland High School, as we get ready to kick off this JV season. We got the Ashland Clockers facing off against the Westwood Wolverines. Kicking for Ashland is number 15. That is Pat Dwinells. Little squib kick. And Westwood will take over in fairly decent field position at their 39-yard line. I'm Rob Silver here on WACA-TV Ashland. Thanks for joining us, and I think this might be a first, a live stream of a JV matchup. Happy to be here. Looking forward to a competitive matchup. Bear with me as I just got the roster about 5 minutes ago, so I will do my best to do justice to these names. Quarterbacking for Westwood. Get that in a second. Pass over the middle. Good for about 12 yards. Still fighting. And that was Tommy Kane on the receiving end. Brendan Donegan with the accurate throw to start the game. 10 yards, good enough for the first down. Lining up in the backfield for Westwood, that's Tommy Fahey. Gets the handoff from Donegan. No gain. Westwood going with the hurry-up offense. Donegan drops back to pass. He dumps it off to Fahey in some open space. Gets about 8 yards. Once I get these offensive names down, I'll try and get some of our defensive stars for the Clockers. And that handoff to Fahey goes nowhere, as in on the tackle was sophomore number 75, James Palanzi. And that brings up fourth down, 4th and 2, and they will go for it. Donegan deep set, lobs it up. An inadvertent whistle, but they finds the receiver. That's number 19, Tommy Kane. And 42 yards. Donegan to Kane to put the Wolverines out to a quick 6-0 lead. See if they line up for the extra point or the 2-point conversion. Seemed to be an inadvertent whistle, but it was a perfect pass. To catch Kane in stride, and he waltzes into the end zone. Going for 2. And again, it was Donegan on the pass, and a perfect pass to number 10 for Westwood. That was Kyle McDonald, the junior, little bobble. By the time he recovered, he was short of the end zone, and the extra point fails. So it'll be 6-0. Perfect weather, just a slight breeze. The Ashland Clockers, coached by Brad Jackson. And as always, we want to recognize our faithful trainer, Amy Mendoza, Principal Kelly St. Cour, and our athletic director, the unsung hero that's making all this happen for everybody, Stephen Marks. kicking off for the Wolverines. Number 38, that's Tommy Fahey, the running back. Kick goes about 30 yards. It's fielded cleanly by Leon Fleming, the sophomore for Ashland, who brings it back about 12 yards. And Ashland will start with pretty good field position at the 43-yard line. Quarterbacking for Ashland is the sophomore Pat Dwinells, younger brother of recent graduate Ryan Dwinells, TVL All-Star. And in the backfield, looks like a number that I can't recognize. Oh, that was Leon Fleming, number 33, who took the kickoff. Modest gain of 4 yards. Want to congratulate, we'll do the congratulations after this play. So calls out the snap. It's Fleming again. Powers ahead for another 4 yards. Nice hold to the right side. But we want to congratulate the varsity Clockers for their opening season win last night, 23-0 over the Westwood Wolverines. Touchdown by Eddie Lopez, Matt Neal, Griffin Frank on a 42-yard reception from Luke Herter, and a field goal by John Giglia from 35 yards out to finish the scoring. 23-0 the final. As they hand off again to Fleming, the workhorse gets another 5 yards and a first down. So if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. Dwinells the handoff to Fleming, 3 for 3. Taking a page out of the varsity Clocker book. Pounded the ball all day on the ground. And the Lopez, Neal, Gigliotti, couple. And on the sweep, that's number 89, Mike Diaz. Takes the handoff. That's about 3 yards there. The offensive line for Ashland is number 75, James Palazzi. Also in there is Max Deaver, the junior. Hunter Roby, Connor Bruger. A little different formation as Dwinell steps back to pass. Decides to keep it. A lot of pursuit. And there's a loss of 2 yards, and he's brought down by number 68. For the Wolverines, that is Alvin Bazile. Dwinells gets the play call from the sideline. He has yet to throw a pass. He looks out to his receivers on the left, steps back, he's got some pursuit. And he's brought down for a loss of 5 yards. And again, it looks like it was Alvin Bazile. So 3rd and 14, most likely a punting situation. Helping me today with the broadcast is Nick Cunningham, Tom Hamilton. And running the show, working his magic, is Connor Donovan. Down below, nice and warm. Must be nice, Connor. All right, they're going to go for it. And why not? He's got some room. He throws it. Good coverage there. The pass intended for, looks like it was intended for Jake Keaveney. And broken up by number 58 for Westwood, John McManus. Double coverage. It's a good throw, but better coverage. And Westwood will take over right at the 50-yard line. So again, quarterbacking for Westwood, that is Brendan Donovan, the sophomore. Tommy Fahey's sophomore in the back. Donegan keeps it, rolls out, avoids the pursuit, gets about 6 yards. On defense for Ashland. Get those numbers in a minute. Donegan drops back to pass, dumps it to Fahey. That's enough for a first down. That's the end of the first quarter. After one quarter, it is 6-0, the Westwood Wolverines. Want to thank our sponsors today, Marathon Deli and Technoflex Flexibles, helping in the fight against COVID-19. That's Technoplex, not Marathon Deli. But Marathon Deli keeping us all full and well fed during this pandemic, which hopefully is seeing the end. I got my vaccine on my first vaccine shot on Tuesday. Guessing if I had somebody working with me on the mic, there might have been a little bit of positive feedback. But anyways, we got the Westwood Wolverines taking over. 1st and 10 on the 38-yard line of Ashland. Donegan having his way on offense, dumps it into the flat, overthrown. The pass intended for number 27, Kyle Rooney, and he couldn't have been more wide open. Probably could have gone for a touchdown, and I think his eyes just bugged out. Couldn't believe how open he was. So we'll see if Ashland can take advantage of that little misstep by the Wolverine offense. Low snap, handled nicely. Hit as he throws it into the flat. For very little gain, he's brought down by, looks like James Palazzi and Jeff Britt in on the tackle. Pickup of 2 brings up 3rd and 8. That pass from Donegan went to number 44, Jason Casarino. Casarino in the backfield. It's Donegan again under heavy pursuit. And that's grounding. That's Max Duchney, the sophomore. Credit with the sack. So no receiver in the area, so it's intentional grounding. And just a quick reminder for all you fans as you watch the season progress, but you can't throw it out of bounds. Even if he's outside the tackle box, you can't throw it out. There has to be a receiver in the area. Quick kick, and nicely done by Donegan. Very well executed, gets it down to the 7-yard line. Net of about 35 yards on the play. So Ashland will take over deep in their territory. Hopefully that strong defensive stand can inspire the offense. Wind picking up just a little bit, now blowing in the face of the Ashland Clockers. Ryan Dwinell's low snap, picks it up, has to scramble, does so nicely, gets outside for a gain of about 9 yards, almost 10. See where they spot it. But a great job by Dwinell's to, first off, pick up the ball, avoid a couple defenders, and he does make 9 out of nothing. Almost a disaster deep in their own end zone. It's Fleming in the backfield. Couple yards behind signal caller, Pat Dwinell. Quick handoff to Fleming. No gain on a critical 3rd down now. 3rd and 1, a long one. As they try and overcome the poor starting field position after the nice punt by Donegan. So that's Max Duchney lined up to the right, and to the far right is number 28, Yuki. Oh, breaks a tackle, gets outside, he's got some room. And a late tackle out of bounds. Maybe didn't realize which sideline that was. There's 2 lines over there. But a great job by Fleming. Pickup of about 22 yards, and more importantly, that's the 1st down for the Clockers. I apologize, number 28 didn't get the ball, but Jake Keaveney. 26, Yuki Kawabe. Number 24, Natsuki Kawabe. We'll get these numbers down. Fakes the handoff. Dwinell's under pressure. Couldn't escape it this time as number 10 for Westwood drags him down. That is Kyle McDonald, the junior. Linebacker, wide receiver. It's a loss of 7, brings up 2nd and 17. Max Deaver lined up at the bottom of the screen here. Oh, a nice pass to Ryan Madison. And he had the blocker all set up. Just looking ahead, looking upfield before he had secured the ball. So 3rd and 17. So it's Madison and Deaver at the bottom of the screen. Dornells throws it over the middle. A nice catch to Max Dushny, just past the outstretched hands of the Westwood defender. Pickup of about 21 yards, but more importantly, a first down for the Clockers. To keep the drive going, it's 1st and 10 on the 45-yard line. As Dornells completes his first pass of the JV season. Another low snap handled nicely by Dornells. And this time, it's Ryan Madison who secures the ball, picks up about 5 yards. Yeah, they're only going to give him 4. So Fleming comes in, and Natsuki, or as they call him, Nee, Kawabe comes out. And it's 2nd and 6. No scoreboard operator, no clock operator, so I don't know officially how many minutes are left. Quarterback keeper, and it's Dornells with a burst of speed after finding the hole. Fumble, and Westwood looks like they think they got it. See what the refs say. The refs are calling them down by contact. We'll have to watch that on the replay, but Dornells picks up about 8 yards, first down. And more importantly, the loose ball was after the knee was down. So Ashland maintains possession. Dornells. Fleming in the backfield. Hands it off to Fleming. Good hole. Forges ahead for 7 yards, almost 8. Fleming racking up 2-minute warning. It's not the actual 2-minute warning, just a 2-minute shutout by the refs, just making all the sideline aware of how much time, because again, the clock is not running on the big scoreboard. Just joining us, it's 6-0 Westwood. Ashland looking to even it up and take the lead. As they read that one, the handoff to Fleming goes nowhere. And in on the tackle again for Westwood was number 68. Called his name a few times, Alvin Basile, having a great day defensively. And Max Deaver, Ryan Dornells. Bringing the play call. Dornells to Fleming, big room. Nice cut back. And that's a 13-yard gain and a first down. Clock is running. May have to start using timeouts, but it's 1st and 10 on the 17-yard line late in the second quarter. No great sense of urgency. by the Ashland offense, as they do have all their timeouts. And Coach Jackson decides to use one of them here. Probably wants to talk to the offense, let them know about the, well, first of all, get a good play, but clock management is also a key factor at this point in the game. So maybe he's going to call a couple plays, quick snap. It's nice to see the cheerleaders with their first action of the season. All right, so after the timeout, we'll see what the Clockers have up their sleeve. Ryan Dwinells, excuse me, Pat Dwinells takes the snap. He's open. Tough pass into the wind, kind of floated, sailed on him a little bit. Stops the clock. 2nd and 10 on the 17-yard line. As the wind picks up, making it a little bit more difficult to throw the ball. Lined up wide at the bottom of the screen is Dushney. Dwinells rolls out. You know, again, he throws it away. There's nobody there. Technically should be a sack. I guess he had a receiver close enough, so they do not call the grounding. And it's 3rd and 10. Most likely it is 4-down territory. So see if they can get a chunk here. Maybe the first down. If not, run another play. See what Coach Jackson has. Dwinells takes a good snap. Deflected. Pass intended for number 28, Jake Keaveney. And it is now 4th and 10. Coming into the game is Diaz. Number 89, Mike Diaz at the top of the screen. Max Dushney on the right side, and Coach Jackson, not liking the play call or the matchup, decides to call a timeout. You can't take them with you, so you might as well. This is a big play, 4th and 10. You're watching JV football here on WACA-TV. I'm Rob Silver on this glorious Saturday morning, March 20th. So you folks watching this broadcast 20, 30 years from now, Yeah, it's March and it's football. Fall 2 season. And couldn't be happier to be out here. So setting the stage, it is 4th and 10 with probably about a minute to go in the first half. Your Ashland Clockers trailing 6-0. It's Pat Twinells dropping back to pass. Avoids a tackle, keeps it. He's got a little bit of space. He breaks it outside. He's going to get to the end zone. Not the way it was designed, but that's the result they wanted as Pat Twinells avoids the sack, scrambles for 17 yards, and we have a tie game. See if they go for 1 or 2. Varsity squad had some trouble yesterday with their extra points. It was extremely windy. 1 point went wide left, 1 point wide right. They decided to go for the 2-point, which they made on the 3rd touchdown. But Giglia redeeming himself with a rare 35-yard field goal late in the game, which was good by a mile. He did have, he was kicking into the wind. So they will go for 2. Twinells, Fleming, he pitches to number 44. Max Dushney, who waltzes into the end zone to put your Clockers up 8-6. So a great job by the Ashland Clockers. After starting on their own 7-yard line, they took it 93 yards, couple 4th down, 3rd down conversions, and they're able to punch it in late. And that, I believe, is halftime. So if you're just joining us, want to thank you for viewing. We're going to have a couple words from our sponsors. We'll be back in a minute. Thank you.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Marathon Deli. Marathon Deli offers a full range of lunch and dinner items for dine-in or catering. Fine cold cuts, cheeses, and meats also available, in addition to specialty wraps such as the Mayflower wrap, as well as the Honey Bee wrap. They'll be sure to get your mouth watering. Serving Metro West for over 24 years, give them a call at 508-231-1859 or find them on the web at marathondeli.com.
Today's sports coverage on WACA-TV is sponsored in part by Techniplex Flexibles, a globally integrated company focused on developing and manufacturing innovative packaging materials. The Ashland facility produces packaging for medical devices and essential products to help in the battle to treat and eliminate COVID-19.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to William Kunis Field at Ashland High School. We're about ready to kick off the second half of this JV matchup between your Ashland Clockers and the Westwood Wolverines. I'm Rob Silver for WACA-TV here in Ashland. The scoring, Westwood went out to a quick 6-0 lead on the opening drive on a 46-yard touchdown pass from Donegan to Kane. Teams went back and forth, and Ashland finished the second half on a 97-yard scoring drive, capped off on a 4th and 10 play by sophomore Pat Twinells, the quarterback. Avoided a rush, was able to scramble for a 17-yard touchdown, 2-point conversion, capped off by sophomore Max Dushney to make the score 8-6. That's where we are. Westwood will kick off as they were receiving to start the game. The wind has picked up a little bit, so we're going to kick off from the 40-yard line into the wind. competitive matchup so far. We'll see if the Clockers can continue the momentum and finish off this opening season win. Effective kick. Dushny picks it up, avoids the defender. Brings it back to the 32-yard line. So Pat Dwinell's quarterbacking for this JV squad. He's had a couple nice throws. A lot of yards on the ground. So we have a slight delay as we have to pick up the Westwood tee from the kickoff. Jet sweep, they hand it off. It looks like Fleming again. And it is Fleming for about 6 yards. Very effective first half for Fleming as he had about 7 to 10 carries. I'll have to check with my statistician when I watch the film replay. But no, Fleming had several carries, probably about 30, 35 yards on the ground. Sets up a 2nd and 4. Oh, a mishandled snap by Dwinell's. Recovers it, but still Westwood able to capitalize on that. And he's brought down by number 54 and number 51 from Westwood. I'll get those names in a second. That is Greg Nikorian and Thomas Teixeira, the freshman Thomas Teixeira. His first high school action. So that loss of 3 will make it a 3rd and 7 call for the Clockers. Dwinell's lines up deep with Masuki Kawobi out to help him. Dwinell keeps it. He's able to gain about 1 yard, maybe 2. So it's 4th and 5, and Coach Jackson calls for the punt team. And it's just under 5 yards, so if for some reason Westwood does go off sides, would be a first down for Ashland. See if they try any funny snap counts. Nope. Clean snap and a nice Clocker bounce. Down to the 17-yard line. Between the wind and the nice bounce, that's a net of 45 yards off the foot of Pat Dwinell's. He runs, he passes, he kicks. He does it all. So Westwood will take over at the 17-yard line. Donegan drops back to pass. Tries to find Casarino. Just underthrown a little bit. Tries it again. This time he finds Casarino. He's got a little bit of open room, some blockers. And he's hit hard. Not before a gain of about 8 yards. In on the tackle is Max Dushny. On that front line for Ashland is Hunter Roby, number 52. Number 65, Tiago Sitko. 73, Connor Bruger. As Donegan calls out the play. Another deep drop. Oh, as he's hit hard just as he's throwing it. Good coverage on that one by number 27 for Ashland, Jake Dion. Pass intended. Believe it was, pass intended for his favorite target, number 19, Tommy Kane. Pressured on that one by number 65, Tiago Zitko. And Donegan lined up deep where he'll probably do the quick kick. That's what he does. Good end over end kick into the wind. Very effective. Still rolling laterally at this point, but a net of 39 yards. Pretty much all you can ask for based on the current conditions. So Ashland will get their second shot in the second half on offense on the 36-yard line, leading the Wolverines 8-6. That's Rowan Perry, Connor Bruger, James Palanzi, providing the protection for Pat Dwinells. In motion, Mike Diaz. Handed off to Fleming. This time at a loss of 3 yards, as the Wolverines read that one. They line up Max Deaver, top of the screen. Diaz again in motion. And they hand it off to Diaz. Looks like he slipped on the cut, but he was going to get tackled anyways, and that one is number 58, John McManus. The other sideline's calling him Jack, so I'll do that as well. Jack McManus, the sophomore. So it brings up a 3rd and 14. See what they draw up for this one. Dwinell's a low snap, handles it nicely. Throws, he's got wide open. Good hands there by Dushny in wide open field. Sprinting down the sidelines. And Dushny gains almost 49 yards on that pass from Pat Dwinells. Got behind the defender. Dwinells found him in the open field. Dushny with a great job, as it was kind of over the wrong shoulder, looking it into his hands and taking off once he secured the ball. So the Clockers are knocking on the door again. 1st and 10 on the 17-yard line. Donnell's hands off to Fleming. It's brought down by Tommy Fahey and Kyle McDonald after a gain of about a yard. In the game for Ashland is the Kawabe brothers, number 24, Natsuki, I think they call him Ni, and Yuki. And it's Yuk lined up at the top of the screen outside of Dushni. And whistle blowing it dead, flag on the play. Most likely some movement. Movement on the offense, that'll back them up 5 yards. Beautiful weather today. You know what? It's a great day. Head on down to Marathon Deli, grab a couple sandwiches, head over to Ashland Park, go for a little walk, grab a couple sandwiches, salads. I got a chef salad waiting for me. And if you don't feel like cooking tonight, Marathon Deli does have family platters, lasagna, Parmesan, whatever you want, they'll make it for you. And whatever size your family, they'll make it as big as you need. As Dwinells fakes the handoff, good blocking, protection, throws into traffic, and he's lucky that was not picked off. That was intended for Dushni, but it was read by Tom Teixeira, the freshman for Westwood. Actually read by everybody on Westwood. Probably surprised him that it was thrown so close to him. But anyways, that will bring up another 3rd and long, this time 3rd and 15, after the incomplete pass and the penalty. A little confusion on defense. See if Donnells can exploit it. He goes deep. Oh, as he almost found Max Deaver in the back of the end zone. As Westwood seemed a little confused on defense, but recovered nicely. Would have taken a perfect pass, and it was almost there. The wind has died down right here on this 4th and 15 play. This is where Ashland is at their most dangerous. They scored on a 4th and 10 late in the first half. We'll see if they can work the magic again. Donnell's directing traffic. He's got Yuki lined up at the bottom of the screen. It looked like he might have moved early on here he goes again. Donnell scrambling. He's got some room. He's got to get down to the 7. He's not able to do so. Gets to the 10. And Westwood able to hold. It's a good job by Donnell's. Caught about 14 yards. I was saying it looked like the 2 receivers on the left side of the line might have left a little bit early. We're late in the 3rd quarter. We don't know exactly as they're keeping time on the field, not on the big scoreboard if you're just joining us. Westwood will try and march 89 yards to take the lead. Heading into the wind right now. Donegan sails that one over his favorite receiver target, Tommy Kane. Stops the clock. They may want to make sure that they keep the clock running, maybe end the third quarter, so that they do have to punt. They have the win with them. But we'll leave the strategy up to the coach for Westwood as they throw again, this time wide open, and it is Kane, his favorite receiver. Enough for the first down. Depending on where the refs talk to each other, and they're going to give him, they should give him the forward progress. A little confusion. They haven't moved the sideline markers yet. They do, no, they're going to say 3rd and inches, as they do not give him the forward progress. And a mishandled snap on, well, bad snap, but Donegan able to scramble ahead. And as he lunges for the first down, the ball comes free. They're talking it over. And it looks like it's going to be clock or ball. So the Westwood coach, furious, and rightfully so, has not gotten a break. Donegan tried to lunge ahead, didn't need to, wasn't able to secure the ball, and Ashland stripped it and recovered. And that might be the end of the third quarter as they bring in the change down the other side of the field. The Westwood coach walking off some frustration after having some heated exchange with the refs after some unfortunate calls there. But we're in Ashland. Home team deserves a couple calls. So Ashland will take over after the turnover on the Westwood 27-yard line as we kick off just about to start the fourth quarter. It is 8-6. The Ashland Clockers leading. No scoring in the third quarter. I'm Rob Silver here on WACA-TV. Thanks for watching. Westwood defender just gets off the field. They flip it to Fleming. And another fumble. This time they call it dead ball. Let's see if they change this call, because that looked like it came out early. Westwood can't catch a break as it is now 2nd and 3. Both coaches will have something to work on. I have a few things to work on, but keeping this ball secure as Ashland actually almost turned the ball over earlier. Fortunate to get the down by knee. They flip to Fleming again. He's got some space. And he's got 6-7 yards and a first down. So it's 1st and 10 on the 13-yard line for the Clockers. Fleming, the workhorse today. Carried 12 times for 60 yards. Dornells gives the play call to his team. The tight formation. Dornells takes a snap, keeps it himself, and he's hit right away. But he breaks free. But it's Alvin Bazile who ultimately brings them down for no gain. Well, maybe one yard. Alvin Bazile, the defensive star of the day for the Westwood Wolverines. Defensive star yesterday, I think, was Tyler Wang for the varsity squad for Westwood. Quick handoff to Jake Caveney, and Westwood was all over that one. Bazile and Fahey. Did manage to squeeze about 3 yards out of that, and it's a 3rd and 6 on the 9-yard line. Pitch it to Fleming. He gets 4, and it's going to be 4th and 1. It's 4th and 1 on the 5-yard line, or 4th and a short 2, based on the spot by the ref. Coach Jackson gives Dornells the play call. Trots into the huddle. Takes the snap, keeps it himself. And it's going to depend on the spot. Dornell's right down at the 3-yard line. Got the trusty binoculars out. They're going to have to bring in the chains, I believe. And the spot is right on the 3. The Westwood team does not think the spot is in their favor from their initial reaction. They're just trying to gauge the sideline chains as they bring them in. And my guess would be it is a 1st down for Ashland based on the spot and my binoculars, but it is a 1st down. Clockers. So Dornell's kept the legs moving, was able to move the pile and get that 2 yards as they just needed just under 2. So a touchdown here would make it 14-6. Extra point or conversion would make it a 2-score lead. First things first, they got to keep the ball, protect the ball, and punch it in the end zone. Dornell flips to Fleming. Fleming pushes ahead into the end zone. Touchdown, Clockers. Okay, after a little delay, the refs do confirm that it is a touch. I thought it was in by a yard and a half, but thanks for not making me look foolish. I can do that on my own, thank you. So, the Clockers up 14-6. They will go for 2. Come up to the line. Dornells. Oh, pitches to Dushny this time. Wolverines were all over it. And that was number 10 for Westwood, Kyle McDonald with a stop. So it stays a 1 score game, 14-6. Westwood will have the wind at their backs when they take possession of the ball here. About 6 minutes to go, 7 minutes to go in the final stanza. Again, we want to thank our sponsors, Marathon Deli and Technoplex Flexibles. It's Hunter Roby just running into the game. Ball teed up. Dwinells checks with the right side of the line. Left side of the line. Runs up. Nice strong line drive kick. Squibs it. Good hop for Tommy Kane. Avoids a defender. Gets to the outside. And nice job getting it back to the 35-yard line. That was Max Dushny on the tackle. If he didn't get him there, Kane had some open room. Try and call out some of the other names here on the Ashland defense. Number 37, Ethan Tell. Number 77, Jeff Britt in there. Donegan calls for the ball. Drops back. Under a rush and a good tackle. Hard hit by number 28, Jay Caveney. The reception to number 14, Evan Stacy, and he's a little slow getting up. Comes off the field and into the game. Number 17, Matthew Vanderwright. Donegan going deep to his favorite target, Kane. The ball's sailing, and it bounces, and it's intercepted. Intercepted, Ashland. And that's number 37, Ethan Tell. And a flag on the play. It was offensive holding, penalty declined. And coming off the field a little gingerly is number 65, Tiago Sitgo. But Brendan Donegan relying heavily on his favorite receiver, Tommy Kane. That time into double coverage. Pass kind of hung up. Bounced off the shoulder pads, and Ethan Tell on the good coverage was able to secure the bounce and then bring it back for about 15 yards. So Ashland will take over on their 44-yard line midway through the fourth quarter, leading 14-6. And there's a pitch to Liam Fleming. Second and 7. Dwinell pitches to Dushny, looks for a hole. No hole, but he pushes the pile ahead for about 3 yards. And Westwood calls a timeout, preserve the clock, and also a big third down play coming up here. As time is running out and they cannot afford to let the Clockers get on the board again. Need to keep it a one possession game. And Tiago Zitko, who walked off the field gingerly, is up on the sidelines. Looks like it might be his right ankle, a little tender. He's up, but it's definitely a little bothersome. But it did not require the attention of Amy Mendoza, which is a good sign. And he seems to be stretching, so. Timeout is over. Ashland is ready. Westwood gets some last-second instructions from their coach. Apologize, I don't have the coach's name on the roster. It's about the kids. So. They pitch to Fleming. Leon Fleming ahead for 9 yards. Double three. Double three, Ian Fleming. Liam Fleming. I knew I was going to say that at some point. 1st and 10. More importantly, it keeps the clock moving. I'm guessing Ashland will keep the ball on the ground, try and control the clock. And it's been effective all day. As again, the pile moves forward, this time on the heels of 28 sophomore Jake Caveney. It's getting a little heated on the field, and the refs call a flag penalty, unsportsmanlike conduct. We'll see if it's offsetting or if it's on Westwood and or Ashland. It was enough for a first down. So they spot the ball on the 30 after the 12-yard run by Caveney. And the penalties are offsetting. And kudos to Coach Jackson for trying to keep the squad under control, telling them to walk away. You can't get involved in that stuff. I know it gets heated in there, but those are the type of things that could. And taking a knee, victory formation, so there's less time than we thought. And that'll do it. So this one is in the books. Ashland Clockers come back from a 6-0 deficit to win the game 14-6 on the heels of a Pat Dornell's scramble to start the scoring at the end of the second half for the Ashland Clockers. Again, on a 4th and 10, 17-yard scramble after evading the pass rush. He decided to keep it and scored the touchdown, 2-point conversion, Dushney good, 8-6, and a score in the second half by Liam Fleming, who was pounding the ball on the ground all day, made the final 14-6. Defense, great job with a late interception by Ethan Tell. Basically secured the win for the Clockers. So the JV season off to a good start, 1-0. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. Thank our sponsors, Techniplex Flexibles and Marathon Deli. I want to thank my crew today, Nick Cunningham, Tom Hamilton, Connor Donovan, and on behalf of WACA-TV, I'm Rob Silver, saying good day and go Clockers. Thanks for watching.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Marathon Deli. Marathon Deli offers a full range of lunch and dinner items for dine-in or catering. Fine cold cuts, cheeses, and meats also available, in addition to specialty wraps such as the Mayflower wrap as well as the Honey Bee wrap. They'll be sure to get your mouth watering. Serving Metro West for over 24 years, give them a call at 508-231-1859 or find them on the web at marathondeli.com.
Today's sports coverage on WACA-TV is sponsored in part by Techniplex Flexibles, a globally integrated company focused on developing and manufacturing innovative packaging materials. The Ashland facility produces packaging for medical devices and essential products to help in the battle to treat and eliminate COVID-19.